Hello, everybody. How is it going? We are live and direct from California. Every time I say we are live and direct, I want to say it's Saturday night, right? But we've got Justin from PickFu. Justin, where are you located?
I'm in LA. I'm in Culver City, so not too far from you.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm here in San Diego, and so we're enjoying the beautiful California weather out here. But we're not here to gloat over the weather that we have here in Southern California. We're here to talk about this new collaboration that we have called Helium 10 Audience, powered by the folks there at PickFu, which, if you guys have been watching my training videos or podcasts or things for any amount of time for the last 3 years, you'll know that I've always talked about PickFu, and it's so exciting to have this functionality now in a brand new tool within Helium 10 called Helium 10 Audience. So we're going to go into detail about like how to use it and some great case studies and some examples that Justin's going to show. But what we're going to do, I'm going to do this live. Hopefully it's going to work. I've never actually ran an audience on this one account. I'm actually in the Project X account. I'm going to show you guys in a couple seconds here. But we are going to do something interactive where I'm going to create an audience, a Helium 10 audience poll right now live. And then we're going to get most of the answers probably by the end of the show. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys the same question. And then from the people who guess the answer that everybody else is going to guess, we're going to pick a random winner for a Helium 10 podcast microphone, Helium 10 podcast microphone, and possibly a couple Serious Sellers podcast shirts with our brand new logo that's coming out. But let's go ahead and get in that. But before we do, I see we have tons of viewers here all over YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. Guys, don't forget to give a thumbs up right now on the video and share it on your feeds or share it to a Facebook group you think might be interested in this. And let me know where you guys are coming in from. I see people we got Till from Berlin. We've got Rick from the Philippines. We've got the United Arab Emirates in the house. Denise in San Diego. Trish in Melbourne, Australia. Isn't it like 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning over there? That's crazy. That's some dedication. Amir from Mexico. Welcome, guys. So, Justin, you were just on the podcast, right? We just had you on the podcast as well.
So last week.
Yeah, last week. So we go even more in depth on the podcast. So guys, make sure to check out the Serious Sellers podcast. Justin was on there. But I'm going to have you, Justin, help me out here since I actually have never done a new audience on this account. You're going to help me to make sure I don't make any mistakes here. But let me share my screen here. And I'm in the Project X page. All right. So those of you who have Helium 10, where you get to this new tool is you go under listing optimization and then you go into audience. All right. So the reason I'm not sure this is going to work is because I just added a credit card here. Obviously I do not pay for my Helium 10 account. So I added a credit card. So hopefully that's going to work. Now, right before I get in, like, I know there's some people who maybe did not watch the podcast yet. Maybe they haven't heard about PickFu. Like, if you were to give a 1 minute definition of what Helium 10 Audience does, how would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a way to crowdsource decisions. So if you've got creative assets that you need feedback on and you want to get out of your bubble, you don't want feedback from just you or yourself, your team, tap into the Helium 10 Audience powered by PickFu and run a poll, and we'll tap into US respondents. And as quick as 30 minutes to an hour, you'll have 50 people responding saying which creative they like, whether it's a main image or what. And they'll also give a written explanation why.
Okay. Makes sense. I love it. Guys, if you don't see the value yet, you will by the end of this broadcast here. All right. So right here, as you guys can see, I am in Helium 10 Audience, and I'm going to go ahead and use the what's the difference here? Let me know. What's the difference between Poll Builder and Build from Scratch?
Yeah, so if you're new, we suggest going through the Poll Builder. Build from Scratch is if you've done this before and you know exactly the question that you want to ask and all the different settings. But if you're new and you're, one of the things that we hear a lot is that people have hesitancy with wording their question and knowing exactly what they can test. So that's how we tell people to use the Poll Builder, because it'll guide you a little bit on, okay, what are you trying to test? Is it a main image? Is it your product design? Oh, here's some suggested questions that we've seen people be successful with.
Okay, makes sense. You know what? I mean, I've obviously, I'm a PickFu veteran, but I'm just going to pretend that this is my first time. This is my first time in this account. So I'm going to use the poll builder here.
Yep.
And e-commerce selected industry. Now, you don't even know what I was going to do, but we have this new product. You guys are going to see this first. I was kind of hesitant to talk about this because it was going to be a fun surprise of a new product that's coming out on Project X. It's not meant to like make a bunch of money, but it's just kind of like to pay some respect to all the Project X fans out there. Do you know, Justin, offhand, the two main products from Project X? Did you ever take a look at those?
No.
Okay, so what they are is let's see if you're gonna catch my drift here. One was a coffin shelf.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that one. Yeah.
You remember that one? Everybody remembers the coffin shelf. And then the other was a wooden egg tray. You know, two completely separate brands, right?
Okay.
So what I did just for fun, just for all the Project X fans out there, I did a collab and I combined it. What do you think I made?
A coffin shaped egg.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. You got it. We made a coffin shaped egg tray. Okay. So nice. I started this probably 3-4 months ago, and it actually came into my warehouse last week. And so what we did is we took some images, and then Shivali, our brand evangelist, she made some sample white background images. And so one of the biggest things that as Amazon sellers we worry about, right, is our main image, because that's what people see in the search results. And correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, but wouldn't you say a big portion of what people have used PickFu for in the past is like to test their main image?
Definitely. I think that's what most people gravitate to first.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and guys, it rightfully so. That's important. You know, like you catch people's attention with the title and your main image. And if you miss the mark, you could be potentially, missing out on a lot of sales. So this one's pretty easy. It actually has one for that. So it says main image. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. All right, let's scroll down here. It takes me directly to the next part. It says, write your question. The better the question, the better the answer. So the cool thing here is it actually pre-selects some questions here, like which product would you rather buy? Based on the image, which product would you rather buy? This one, I am just saying which image they like the best. So I don't, this is actually great. Guys, do this as a secondary one because you want to get the buyer's emotional, feelings as well on it. But let me just think, what can I say here? I'm going to say, if you, let's say we have made a coffin shaped egg tray. If you saw this in the search results, which picture would you think is most appealing or would most make you want to click on it? What do you think I should put here?
Yeah, maybe it would make you click.
Okay. Which picture would make you want to click on it the most? All right, cool. All right. I like this. Use fact-based language to avoid biasing your results.
Yeah.
Very good. And don't ask respondents to take any action beyond reviewing external URL. We're not even worrying about that right here because it's just images. So let's go to the next step. All right. It says here, add your options. There's my question. And now I can go ahead and add here the different pictures. So let's go ahead and do that here.
Yeah. So you can drag them in, or you can click on the camera to open the file picker.
Okay. Let me just go ahead and choose. Let me make sure these are the right images here. Like not my weight loss photos from I was taking in the bathroom a little while ago. Okay, there we go. All right, there it is. Guys, this is the debut. Nobody outside, not even people inside our company. I think Brian is here in the background on StreamYard, and he's probably never seen these products. I think only Shivali and maybe Bark is here knew about it. All right, so there's one of them. Let's go with the next one. Okay. And how do I make more? I can just add more options. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do option C will be the third one. And then let's do one more here, guys. You'll see how easy this is. I'm like kind of dragging this out because I'm just trying to show you guys step by step. But I could have done this probably in like 2 minutes here. And the fourth one, option D, is this one. Okay. Would you buy this product, Justin? I wouldn't buy this product. I don't know.
If I was having a
slightly different angle,
I needed to have some eggs, then I would buy it.
You know what? this last one here is so close to the first one. I'm gonna delete it. Let's narrow this down a little bit more. Let's just go ahead and delete this. I like how we can do that, and I hit remove if I want to do that. Okay.
There you go.
All right, there we go. We are good to go. Let's go to the next step. Which type of poll you'd like? All right.
Yeah.
Talk to me. What's going on here? This is what does this mean?
Sometimes we offer the ability to do a round robin of matchups, but for the sake of this integration, we kind of optimize it for just ranked.
Okay.
Yeah, but let me explain. Let me explain what's actually happening in a ranked poll. So all of our respondents will see the 3 images, and they'll actually be asked to rank each one in order. So they're not just picking their first choice. They're picking their first choice, their second choice, their third choice, and we're doing an instant runoff vote calculation. So you might have heard this in politics. New York just did this in their mayor elections, and basically you're collecting a lot more data when you ask people to rank things. And so, maybe your choice is the losing one, and normally your opinion is kind of discarded then. But not when you use instant runoff. So when you if your candidate or your option loses, your second choice vote is counted towards the remaining candidates. So it's a way to be more fair in tallying.
Okay, makes sense. I like it. We will go ahead and choose that, and then go to the next step. Audience targeting. Now, I have never ever run a poll with PickFu or audience that's not custom, because that to me is one of the biggest advantages of this is I can actually choose. So let me show you guys a quick trick of what I'm not sure how much. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and click on this, the custom audience, just to show everybody the kind of traits that are available. What do you guys think out there is the very first one that all Amazon sellers should be picking? That's this right here. Amazon Prime members. How do you know? So when you bring people onto your audience side, you're actually trying to see who is who has Prime and not, or
I mean, all of this is self-reported. Obviously, we're not auditing their age and whether they have a dog and all. So this is all self-reported information that they're providing to us around not only their demographics but also certain behavioral attributes. So like there was one about exercise and exercise frequency, and whether they take nutritional supplements or use beauty products, which is super popular for a lot of Amazon sellers. Hunting's an interesting one. Cooking,
lots of interesting ones. Good grief.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's my trick, guys. I have Seller Central open here. If you guys have brand registry, watch this. This is going to be in an existing brand. So like if you already have a brand out there that you're selling and it's in a niche, like we've been selling the coffin shelf, it's a Gothic decor kind of item. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to brands and brand analytics. All right. And then right here, I am going to choose demographics. A lot of people don't even realize you have this available in your Seller Central account. And let's just take a look at who is buying, who is buying these products. All right, let me look at let's go quarterly, and then let's just do that quarter right there. Okay, and let's do here we go. This is important. Manny's Mysterious Oddities. I mean, we have the egg tray brand, but I don't think that's even though this is an egg tray, I don't think that's completely relevant because it's more of a people who are just into Gothic stuff are going to be interested. All right, so here in this case, it doesn't have the information for Manny's Mysterious Oddities, but if I were to look at it overall, as you can see. I have some information. So I'm going to go ahead and base it off of the overall, because actually Manny's Mysterious Oddities had 95% of the sales of the last quarter. The egg tray wasn't selling that great. So right off the bat, I can see 25 to 34 on the age and 35 to 44 take up more than 50%. So what I'm going to do over here in audience is, here we go, right here. Boom. There it is. There's one of them right there. People between the ages of 25 and 34. Let's go ahead and choose that. What else do I see here? Household income. There's not. Sometimes there might not be enough. Like there's too many here. That's information not available. I think. What do you think, Justin? Like maybe I'll skip.
Yeah, I would skip it.
Okay. Education. Some college. Nothing much there. Oh, it skews female. Look at that.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah.
Over 60%. So you know what? I am going to choose that one. Let's see.
And you could also type in the search for female. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
There he goes right there. I think that might be it. I think I don't want to go too deep here. Merit. Oh, well, look at this.
Huh.
A lot of married people
a
love
lot of not
Gothic
available though.
stuff. Oh yeah, the information not available is kind of yeah, you're right. Okay,
It's complicated for those people.
that's good for now. But look at that. So what we're doing is I'm going in a specific audience, Amazon Prime members between the ages of 25 and 34, and women for this one, so that I know I'm kind of like hyper focusing my audience. Let's go to the next step. How 50 should be good for this. I usually just do 50. Under what circumstances do you think we should do these higher ones?
Yeah, I think if you're, I like to say that if you're testing things that are pretty different, then you can start smaller because typically the results will not be that close.
Yeah.
If you're working on a very minute change, then you may need more responses to get a little bit more confidence in the decision, right? If you're, if it's something really minor, but you really want, data on it, then I would use more responses.
Okay. This is something I haven't really done in the past, but this is interesting, guys. If you want to get in the results more information, like obviously I want to make sure that the the different things that I had chosen above, like the age and things like that, are in there. But maybe I want to just do people who buy coffin shelves drink a lot of beer? I mean, I don't know. Like maybe you want to be interested in something like that. Hey, we could do that right here. All right, here we go. Next step. Confirm my poll, and here it is right here. 3. I did some extra things. That's why the price went up a little bit, but hey, this is I highly suggest doing that because I don't want maybe a 65-year-old single person, which is almost single male maybe, to be responding on my poll when I have data that shows me that it's a 30-year-old female who's married who might be more interested in my product. Just like if you have got an hair restoration thing or something that may be for senior citizens, I might not want an 18-year-old person replying to that one. So guys, keep in mind that you do want to hyper target who is replying here. All right, everything looks good, and let's go ahead and check out.
Let's see if the credit card works.
Let's see if the credit card works. Let's complete payment. Did I max out my credit card or not? Let's go. Boom, goes the dynamite. It worked. All right. So here's the contest for everybody. While we're going through the rest of this presentation, I want you guys to put here which one you guys think is going to win. Oh, you can only vote once. You can only vote once. All right. We're going to come back. It could be finished, but it might not be finished, but we'll probably know who's going to be the winner. So which one of these do you think that target market is going to pick? Option A, option B, or option C? Go ahead and put your answers in the chat right now. And then let me go ahead and take off this screen share. We'll go back to this in a little bit. And then now, Justin, I'm going to ask you to take the wheel here.
Sure.
And I want you to just talk more. We kind of worked our way backwards on this one. Like we showed you what the end result is. Now let's work our way back and talk more about how this is structured and some great case studies.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about how audience works and what it is. So I just wanted to share a couple ways that some of our customers have used it and share some of the successes that they've had. If we have some time, we can pop through some extra use cases that we've seen. Let me see. Is that showing up okay? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So one of the first ones that we have is this company called Yes Bar, and some of you might be familiar with them. They're a pretty well-known brand in the kind of like nutrition bar space. And so they came to us and they wanted to work on just optimizing their main image. Like you said, this is one of the more common things that people like to do. And so here's a search result of the search where they show up, and you see the competitors like RX Bar and Paleo Bar and the Caveman bars, and they just want to stand out more. And so we did we worked with them to do this case study where they agreed not to change anything else about their product or their listing, and we optimized their main image, and they agreed to use the winning image. And so we worked with them to go through a process of optimizing their image. The original image was this one, which had the box and the 6 cookies. It is a pack that includes 6 cookies, and that's why they did it. They started with an iteration that showed 6 boxes just to kind of convey that a little bit more clear. But I think it felt a little bit busy. And so I think we honed in on this one. So, the crux of it is that you may have this hypothesis, and we talked through, and maybe in hindsight, it makes sense, but you want to test out your hypothesis. And ideally you don't test it live all the time. I mean, there are some times where you're making changes and you do want to validate that with live sales data, and you can do some live A/B testing with other tools. But it's so much better if you also have a hunch if this is going to work before you even put it live. So you're not jeopardizing sales or losing search rank because you're not getting the click-throughs and all that kind of stuff. So this is where PickFu and Audience come in perfectly.
Yeah, guys, and that's an important point because Amazon also has a split testing tool where you can do it live, and actually it's pretty cool. Yeah. But I personally don't run it, and the reason is because I want to get all this stuff done beforehand. Because if I'm doing a split on a live listing, half the time, I'm having unoptimized sales, and I don't want to lose money. I want to get all this stuff done before or test it offline so that I'm not losing any money.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that a lot of people aren't even going to have the traffic volume, and it's going to take forever for you to get enough results. So, these audience polls are super fast. They'll be done hopefully within an hour, depending on how much targeting you put on it. We'll see how the one that you started, how long it takes. But here's the poll that YesBar ran. It is the 3 different options that we talked about, with the original one being option C. And so in their case, the results took exactly 45 minutes, 50 responses. There was some age targeting on it, based kind of like what you did, based on their known demographics. And the winner was this new packaging, which a little gray area because it does have that 6 bars, but it's on the packaging, so it kind of looks like it's part of the packaging, but it does convey the fact that there are 6. There's the 6 cookies. And it takes up more white space than the previous image did. I don't know if you can tell that, but I think one of the things that's great about our results is that you get these written explanations why. And so a lot of the comments said that they wanted to see the packaging. There were comments that wanted to that liked the fact that it showed the number of bars. Whether that was actually showing 6 different boxes or the number 6, I guess, as long as there's something that indicates the number of the quantity. And then so the issue that we had with this original main image was it's fine looking, but look how much white space is being wasted. Like that space that Amazon's giving to you, right? You should take advantage of it to the max. And so even if it's just the same image but a little bit larger, it's going to perform better.
Cool. Making me hungry. Why did you have to pick food? I told you I was in a diet right now, trying to save weight or lose weight before prosper. You're killing it right now. But continue. Hopefully we'll get out of this food in a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, as soon as they made this change, they saw an almost 12% increase in sessions. The only thing they did was change the image. And so, those based on the conversions that could account for an over $3,000 increase in revenue based on their other stats. And the cost of this poll was only $85, right? Like the poll that you ran was $105. So when you start thinking about small percentages making a difference, like it's a very small investment to have a little bit more data to make the right choice.
Hold on really quick, Justin. I got to put up this comment. It's not PickFu, it's PickFood. I love it.
That's awesome.
All right, guys, you see the ROI there? This is, people we're like, how do I calculate ROI? Here, what was the investment? $85. What was the return? $3,300. Was it worth it? Okay, I think so.
And it's going to keep going, right? Like all these things are incrementally going to make your listing better. So whether that's your main image or the title, and as you're optimizing other things like your description or whatnot, they're all compounding on your conversion rate and eventually your sales. And so while these polls may be $50 to $100, that's a one-time thing. Once you've made the right decision, you don't have to come back and do it again. So let's see. Another one that we have is with Thrasio, which a lot of people do know. They're a large acquirer and operator of Amazon FBA businesses. People call them roll-ups or aggregators. They came to us and they were working on one of their early products, which was this product Angry Orange that I know that they like to showcase as well. It was an acquisition that they made. It's a pet deodorizer. So like if you've got a dog that pees on the carpet, you need to spray one of these things to break down the odor enzymes or something like that. And so this product was already performing well. It was doing $2 million a year in revenue, but they wanted to do a full rebrand, thinking that it would actually really boost sales. So it wasn't a small decision though, because retooling the packaging, they were telling us was going to cost $50,000, and that's a pretty big investment even for a company like Thrasio. So they wanted to work on a new design. This was the original bottle that they were working with, which is fine, but it does feel a little homemade. And so they went through a lot of variations, a lot of design iterations, and eventually they, using the power of the PickFu polls, they ran a few different polls, and across different 800 respondents across those polls, they came up with this winning branding and packaging, which is this full orange one. And so in the end, they validated the rebrand. They made the $50,000 investment in the packaging change, and immediately they saw a sales spike. And so they saw a huge increase in their daily revenue. And based on that, they actually expanded the product line, because it was doing so well with this new rebranding and new packaging. And they were able to take this product line from a $2 million to a $20 million product line, just because like the packaging was doing so well that they were able to, expand, concentrates and all these other kinds of things.
So guys, you see that there? It's not just like a cause and effect. Yes, there's cause and effect, direct cause and effect. And here on this one product, I can increase my sales X percent because my conversion rate is going up. Yeah, that's always going to be the case. But remember, there's this like trickle down effect or this ripple effect.
Yes.
That if you boost one product up, now it boosts the brand awareness. Now you can start expanding out. And I mean, we're not going to, say, hey, use Helium 10 audience and grow your sales from 2 million to 20 million. Obviously, that's a amazing case, but this just shows you what the potential is when you can really dial in your branding to what the customers are looking for.
Yeah, and I think it really highlights the importance of testing this stuff really early on in your product life cycle. So whether that's your branding, because clearly the branding change here, the packaging change, all that stuff is much earlier. You can do a rebrand, but if you can do that from the very beginning, you're going to save yourself a lot of time and money.
Okay.
So they're huge fans of PickFu. To this day, they're still using PickFu kind of on every major creative change that they make in the company across all the different products that they're acquiring and optimizing. So the last one is another seller, another image case study. This is a more recent one, so we haven't done a full write-up of them, but they're a headphone manufacturer with best-selling products in Europe and US and in the US. And you've probably seen their headphones online before, but they use split testing in a number of different ways. They do use it to guide design ideas before starting production. So kind of asking priorities of people, like when you're buying headphones, like what's important to you. I think that's a really good way to use PickFu. Improving the current products, both the designs and the listings. And then seemingly minor decisions like thank you cards, right? Like those make an impression. Like every touch point that you have with a customer makes a brand impression. And if you're trying to build a brand that lasts, you don't want to have like a cheap looking thank you card in your packaging when you've spent all this other time on your brand presence elsewhere. So you really need to test all of this stuff. And so similar to the S-Bar one, they did a main image test and they swapped the main image to this one here, and immediately saw sales jump 10 to 15% in that first week. So again, proving that the ROI can be immediate for some of these things. Like the main image is one of those really easy things to change, and so that's why most people gravitate to that as the first thing they do with PickFu. It really behooves you to find every additional percentage that you can get. But then once you're starting to optimize those listings, like take a step back, see where else you can use it throughout your product line, maybe retooling, rebranding some things. Yeah. So, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, actually the funny thing that was going through my mind right now is that, somebody might be thinking, oh, headphones are kind of saturated, but a few of the top headphone manufacturers out there just got suspended on Amazon. So like sometimes what you heard about that, Justin? Yeah. So like sometimes what was maybe saturated, you never know, like new opportunity could arise. And I wonder what these guys are doing now. That they probably are increasing sales right now.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
of that.
Yeah, I mean the doors never close on Amazon.
Yeah.
So I just have a few more other use cases to jog some ideas in people's heads of what they can do with PickFu. Like I've been saying, you should try to use it at different stages of the creative process, your product life cycle, even. So even ad content, this could be on Amazon or off Amazon. A+ content, testing marketing creatives is a really popular way to use PickFu. And this could be stylistically, this could be testing the text. I think what's interesting about, I just posted this on LinkedIn, but a lot of creatives come to us and say, oh, isn't testing stifling to creativity because we're going too data oriented? But what I like to say is that it actually, in our mind, it unleashes creativity because you can try different stylistic approaches, vastly different ones, right? Maybe your branding is typically very light and airy, but maybe you just want to try something really dark or goth and just see how it performs, and maybe performs with your target audience. You don't know until you try, and you're not usually going to want to try that with something live or do it like a live test or anything like that. So it's kind of a safe space, a private forum to be testing out these different approaches, which could make a huge difference in your performance.
Yeah, I mean, I think people sometimes they just automatically think that it's only what we just did, the main image or the title. But guys, there's so many different things. Maybe that one that Thrasio did, you guys didn't even think about, like, literally the branding, the packaging of your product, your A+ content, your bullet points. I mean, there's just a never ending list of things that, not one thing by itself might always get you a huge, like 10% increase, but these things add up. You optimize your title, you optimize your price point, and you stack all these things together, you're going to have an exponentially a good improvement, hopefully, on your listing.
Yeah, they really do compound on each other. Here's another one, just talking about packaging again, testing different color schemes, copy points that you might include on the packaging. I really think people underestimate how much, even though this is an online venue for purchasing things, packaging makes a huge difference. And especially things like food products or nutritional products, like the packaging is what it is. Like that's the thing you're going to hold in your hand, and that's what you're looking at. So really make sure that the color scheme, the marketing points that are on there really highlight all the value that you're providing. Bullet points. This is an interesting one that we don't see as often, but it's a pretty clever way to use PickFu. And if you remember what I was saying about the rank polls, is that when there's multiple options, they're actually asked to rank all the individual options in this case 1 through 8. So you could actually put all your different bullets up, and maybe you only want like 4 of them, or maybe you're going to do all 8, but have them rank it so that you know that you're leading with your strongest ones. Yeah. So that's a really interesting way to use PickFu.
Great idea. That's something I haven't done, but I should. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Competitive tests like this is super powerful. I think a lot of people don't do this enough, but a lot of our largest customers do this all the time. And so being a private platform, you can get more feedback around why people are choosing your competitors. And so you can take your existing image and put it up against your category leaders. You could even take a product that doesn't exist, right? Maybe you're going to get into salad, like this customer is, and you want to know, like, if we come out with this, how are we going to compete based on this packaging and this title? Maybe you're coming in at a lower price. You do want to include the price. You want to see, are we going to be able to overcome the incumbents in the competitive landscape just based on this? Because it really comes down to just how we're showing up in search results, right? So really good way to kind of gut check how you're doing with your existing creatives, and also creatives that you're deciding to launch with. And then the last thing I'll say is that it's iterate. Like you can't just stop at one poll. Like you're going to get really good results from it. And a lot of times you'll have an actionable thing like replacing the image, but a lot of times you're going to read through the results. There's going to be a lot of things, a lot of ideas that you could take action on and actually adjust for the next round, but don't just assume that it's going to win. Like you should validate it again and keep iterating. And that's how people are able to take their marketing creatives and their packaging, from something that doesn't perform well to something that does. And you've seen that with the Thrasio one, and the example we're giving here with their marketing creatives is the iteration paying off. Yeah, so that's kind of all I had for different use cases. I think that's enough for people to chew on.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and take that off so we can put our faces up here. All right, so guys, I think you guys now have an idea. Let me know in the comments who has used already either Helium 10 Audience or PickFu, and let us know if you've used it. I'm just curious, but as soon as I found out about it, I didn't even know about it until I came here to work at Helium 10, and it was Kevin King and Manny Coates were talking about it. I think it was on a podcast or some kind of webinar. And I was just like, that just blew my mind. I was like, man, I wish I had this when I was still a consultant for Amazon sellers, because there are just so many use cases here that, one of the things, whenever I go on podcasts or people interview me, one of the main questions that they always ask me is like, hey, what do you see is like the biggest mistake that Amazon sellers make? And what I always say is that Amazon sellers too much rely on their own knowledge, or they think they're the expert on their product. And then so they base all of their operations like on what they think they should do instead of going from the buyer's viewpoint. No matter how much of an expert, I could be the foremost expert on coffin shaped, items, but the way that I would search for it or the picture that I would like, that doesn't mean that that's what the majority of the customers out there are going to like. I mean, as a matter of fact, like I didn't even realize that the majority of the customers is not me. Like I am not 25 to 34. I wish I was, I'm not a female, and this and that. So like, if I'm basing all of what I'm doing off of my own likes and dislikes, I'm immediately probably alienating, the majority of my audience. I love using audience. There's so many pun not intended things I can say here. Go ahead.
I think so many people don't realize that they're not necessarily their target audience for the products that they're selling. And even if you are, like, you're one data point, right? So so many sellers are doing keyword research and looking at other factors for deciding what they want to get into. And so if you're really not your audience, like you need to find some way to get out of your own bubble to get this kind of feedback.
Yep. All right. Let's get some questions here before we show the results. I was hoping to get at least 10, 15 results, because usually you'll see it was a very narrow. If you guys remember, it was very narrow. Like female and age 25 to 34. But hey, if you want to be narrow, you should be. So I'm looking here. I haven't looked at the answers, but I see that there's already like around 10 responses. So we're looking good here. But guys, if you ask a question way above, ask it again, because I might have missed it. And I'm going to throw it up here on the screen here. So let me go here to say what. Okay, so you see, Amazon sellers, Justin, are so paranoid about everything, but rightfully so, But I think like I personally like doing PickFu polls or audience polls after I've already made the decision. I'm about to launch the product and things like that. But I suppose some people might actually do it as part of their product research to even validate an idea. So in that case, like if they're way ahead of it, like how do they, like I can't imagine this has ever come up, but what do you think about this question here?
Yeah, so all of our respondents are required to agree to a non-disclosure agreement. So they shouldn't be sharing any of the content that they're seeing, and they don't ever see the results either. So even if they do see the options, they're not going to see what wins. So they may end up, if they were to copy it, maybe they'll take the worst one anyways. So you should feel at ease there. We have a lot of large Fortune 500 companies that are using it on private creative assets. So this issue has never come up. And I think that I saw another question asking about respondents and whether they get paid. So I'll just address that they are paid a stipend for participating. And so there is an incentive for quality. And we do take a lot of aggressive means for filtering out people who are not genuinely responding, and we block them and kick them out. And so we're taking a lot of measures on our side to curate that pool of people to make sure that they're doing their best work.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Here, back to when I had asked who's used it. Trish says, I use PickFu and I sure didn't pick the result. And that's what happens. A lot of the stuff that I would have picked is not the result. Is not what you thought was the number one thing. Usually is not the right answer.
Yeah, that's the most common feedback we get from customers is that they write in, they're like, "Whoa, I was blown away. I totally, I totally couldn't have predicted that." And that's what it's here for.
Yep, absolutely. Here's a question. Susan says, "Is it only specifically for brand registered products?" So the answer is no. I mean, it's for. I mean, you don't even have to have an Amazon account to use Helium 10 audience. Yeah. So the advantages. The reason why I talked about brand registry is because if you do have it, now you can help kind of hone in what audience you're going to target in Helium 10 audience. I cannot get over that, but you can do that with the brand analytics. So that's a good thing there. Let's see. Oh, here's a funny question. I would have guessed the opposite. Why so much money? I would say, why is it so cheap? Because if you think about it, how much effort would you need to put in to get 50 respondents who are Amazon Prime members, who are female, who are the ages of 25 to 44. I mean, even if I stand in the middle of a mall and try and do that, that would still take me a number of hours, to do that. And then not only to get them to vote on something, but to give me a detailed reply. Yeah. Like we're talking hundreds of dollars, whether you do it yourself or you hire somebody. So, and as Justin said, they're actually paying people for these results. It's not like free, it's not like Helium 10 and PickFu are pocketing that $85 or whatever. Mine was more expensive, but I've done them for as cheap as 60. But guys, the question should be, why is it so cheap? Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think more entrepreneurs need to value their time. Not obviously we think the ROI is phenomenal based on the results it can have on your listing, but you should value your time and think about like Bradley said, if you're going to go to a coffee shop or to a mall and start talking to people, sure, you could do that, but you're not even, first of all, you won't even get to these numbers, and it's going to take hours and hours, if not all day.
Yep, absolutely. Another question here from Susan was asking about UK, when or if it will be available for Amazon UK Prime members or buyers.
Yeah, we are working on international expansion. UK is definitely on that short list for one of the few first ones.
Okay, here you go. Great question. I'm an author, illustrator, and I'll be doing a Kickstarter for pre-sales for my book soon. This seems like a perfect way to test copy. We also do a short video. Can this app test short video clips?
Oh, this is a perfect setup. So actually, a lot of our original customers for PickFu were authors. Book title and book cover testing was actually the most popular use case for many years. And a really good use, because once you publish a book, especially physically, there's no live testing that one. So testing your book title, book cover makes a huge difference. As they say, people judge a book by its cover. Video is also something that we can do. You can upload not only text or images, but you could also do video or audio clips. And so you can use that for, testing little commercials, or maybe you're going to test audio voiceover actors. Like that's a really popular use case as you're deciding who to pick, even music for your video. So a lot of different things that you can test with video.
Okay, great question there. Let's see, another question. I'll take this one. Till said 6 images on Amazon. Do you run 6 test run for each? I mean, of course you could, but the way I look at things is the main image is the one that gets the most action. Usually buyers are not going to make or break their decision based on, image number 7. However, that being said, I've done it before where I do it on my infographic. So for example, I wasn't sure, for info, I like doing a size infographic on products. And I was like, you know what, do people like to see these infographics on a white background or with some, like a lifestyle image that just has inches and weight and dimensions on there. And so I did it. That wasn't my main image, but I still did it on that. And then now what I've done, every other launch I've done has been based on that one PickFu poll that I did, because now I know, oh, like, you know what, at least in my niche, Amazon buyers seem to like the lifestyle image to have the dimensions as opposed to the plain white background. So in that sense, yes, but I wouldn't recommend doing Helium 10 audience for every single one of your images every single time. But hey, if you want to, go ahead. It can't hurt.
So another note on secondary images. We had a competition a few months ago called the Amazing Listing, where we actually pitted a few different Amazon creative agencies against each other to optimize some assets of Kevin King's Germshark hand sanitizer, actually. And one of the things that he wanted them to work on was some secondary images that helped address some of the concerns that he was getting from reviews and like return feedback, that kind of stuff, right? And so one of the ways that you could use PickFu in that case is to see if those secondary images are answering that potential question. If there's a concern you know about and you want to use the secondary imagery to make sure that it's hitting it on the spot, really good way to test it. Like, does this, if you had a concern about safety, like, does this image like answer all your questions, or which one is better to answer the question about safety? So keep that in mind.
Good. Great point. Sulaiman says, hey, I've studied Project X and Freedom Ticket. I'm quite near to launch my product. Should I go for both Helium 10 audience and PPC test listing both? So, people are wondering what the heck is PPC test listing. That's something that we teach in Project X. But to me, that's different things. Like I actually like doing the PPC test listings to kind of validate my product research. But then once I've made my decision, that's when I get into the details. And then I go ahead and implement my Helium 10 audiences. And that's exactly what we did here. Like I actually did a PPC test listing probably like 3 or 4 months ago, just to see like, is there interest in a coffin shaped egg tray? Nobody's ever made that on Amazon before. So, and I saw some promising results, but I'm not even doing a Helium 10 audience until literally just today. Until I'm about to make the listing. But you could also make that part of your validation process too. Let's see. Here we go. Some people asking about India. So like, what would you say is I'm sure eventually all Amazon marketplaces are on your roadmap, but would you say like the one that we'll probably see first is Europe, and then maybe, in the future, if there's enough interest, we might see like Amazon India and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely demand based. So, I mean, if there are countries that you want to see right in, the same goes for the targeting demographics. If there's an attribute that you're not seeing on there that you like to target by, definitely write in and we can look into it. I guess the other thing I'll say about the country targeting is that in a lot of cases it may not make as big a difference as you think. I mean, a lot of these product decisions or main image decisions, they kind of come down to, I don't say common sense, but like the feedback from a US audience may be just as valid. Obviously there are cultural differences or language issues. So like if that's what you're testing, then you should probably not test it with the US audience. But so many things like usability of like a teapot kettle, and you're testing different handles. Well, we're all humans, we all have the same hands. So keep that in mind if you're in the UK, selling to the UK or wherever, and you do want to use audience. Yeah.
I see multiple questions here about like, hey, should I use Helium 10 audience or PickFu? It's the same. Like the price, the pricing is going to be the same. the filters, everything's going to be the same. So if you're not a Helium 10 member, sure, you can use PickFu, but most of the audience here is Helium 10 members. So go ahead and it's right there in your dashboard. I mean, you're writing your listing, you're doing all your stuff right there. Just go ahead and do it right within Helium 10. You don't have to enter a credit card or anything, since you're already paying Helium 10. So it's a pretty easy process there. That's why we wanted to make the process easier. We knew a lot of you guys were already using PickFu out there. And so we're like, hey, how do we make the process easier for our customers? Let's keep going with the questions here. How about this one? Here's a detailed question here. Bansal says, can we do a poll which lets users know what percentage of people look at the top 6 images and what percentage of people scroll? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I actually did something like this, but go ahead and take this one.
Oh, you go for it.
Yeah. Well, basically what I did, it was similar to this. I was writing a blog on Helium 10 about, I forgot what it was, like how many people, or how many does what was it, the Amazon's Choice badge, like how does that affect your purchase behavior. Like, do you care about it a lot?
Yeah.
Do you like, it's not that important, or it's not important at all? And then, so yeah, if you're wondering like behavioral testing like this, like, hey, literally copy and paste this question. Do you look at the top 6 images on an Amazon listing? And then another one would be, do you look down? Do you care if a listing has nice graphics in the description or just text? Like those are literally Helium 10 audience polls that you could run.
Yeah.
And actually, if you do that, Bansal, please let me know. I'd be interested to write about that, because yeah, questions like that absolutely you can do. Let's see here. So guys, I think it's time to give an update. You know, let's go ahead and give an update. How many answers we have? Oh, we do have over 10. We have 12. All right. So what do you guys think it was? Say it again really quick before I put it up. Do you guys think it was the one where it was kind of looking at an angle with the brown and the white eggs in there? Do you think it was the one where they were looking at the top? That was option B. That option A is the first one. Is it the one where you're looking straight down at only the brown eggs, or was it the one option C that really shows the shape of the coffin, but it doesn't have any eggs in it? So it looks like a lot of people were saying B. Good. That's the one I would have probably picked. I would have probably picked B or C. Let's go ahead and show the results here. We were doing this live. I'm surprised we got 12 answers here, even in this short period of time when it was so narrow.
Yeah, the age range is pretty narrow, but
here we go. We've got 12 already.
Nice.
I can see here this little figure here means that there's literally somebody right now voting on this poll and doing it. So something might pop up by the time I finish my screen share here. But overwhelmingly, option B is the winner. Now, here's the interesting thing. I did this poll. You guys can actually see this. I did a PickFu poll 2 years ago on Project X with the egg tray, and it was this one. It was this angle. You know, it was this angle that overwhelmingly won. And I did have one that like this angle, and nobody picked that one. So, but since this is shaped like a coffin, you know, like this is the one that people like. And I'm just assuming that that's the reason why. But guess what? I don't have to assume that that's why people are picking this one. Let's see why people are picking this. Here we go. All right, look at that. From this angle, you can clearly see the shape of the coffin container. So I saw it. B. This is, I didn't even think about this point.
Yeah, that's good.
I did not think about this. B clearly shows how many eggs fit. Let me just go up here and look at these pictures. Yeah, you like can't tell. Is there something hidden over here? Is there something over? Yeah, look at that. Here you can count. By the way, do you see how many eggs fit in here, Justin? This is another kind of not inside joke, but kind of like a subtle thing that I did here.
Baker's dozen?
That's what you would think for an egg tray, but it's not a dozen. It's Baker's dozen. Yeah, Baker's dozen. I know what you're saying now.
Yeah, why is
for the people who don't understand what Baker's doesn't mean, what number is that?
13, yeah.
13, yeah. So it's like a spooky kind of thing here. So we got lucky 13.
Oh, that's awesome.
Has it.
Yeah, actually, I do like the fact that that option B also doesn't have an egg in the middle one, because you can kind of see what that divot looks like.
Good point. I'd like to say I can take credit that I told the photographers, which is my daughter, to do that, but no, she came up with that on her own. So good. Let's see what else do we have. More visible, option B is my first choice, because I can estimate the size of another good point. I can estimate the size of the actual product. You know how big eggs are, but you can't really see the other side of the egg tray on that one. You can't tell what shape it is. I couldn't tell that C was supposed to be for eggs. Good point. I mean, you see, that's the thing, guys. As sellers, we get in the mindset and we just forget about what's happening. Like, we obviously know the egg tray is our product, but then, like, if you look at that product and you just saw that, how in the world would you know that it's for eggs? It just looks like a piece of wood with holes in it. Good point. I'd rather stick to one color of eggs.
Yeah,
this person is just like really
interesting point.
I would prefer to buy option. They're like yelling because of the legs. Oh my goodness, like they're really excited about it. But I can see other things here. This was Asian, and they have a graduate degree. So they're even showing me things here in Helium 10 audience that I didn't even choose. But if I wanted some additional insight, that's pretty cool as well. Let me see. Did that one person do it? Oh, they're really taking their time. This just shows, guys. That person has been writing a reply for like the last 4 minutes. So again, people are actually putting thought into these. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me go ahead and take off the screen share here. But now I know, guys, I did not set this up just to show you guys. Like, I am literally, actually not me, but Shivali, one of our brand evangelists here, she's actually in the process of making this listing. I've got 400 of these sitting in my warehouse right now, waiting for a listing so I can send it to Amazon. This is a real life product that we are really going to sell. And we needed to know what image to use for the main image. Now, did I have to launch this and then do a split test and see, hey, which one, gave me better sales? Or no, I didn't have to. I'm not wasting any money. I did it all beforehand. So from day one of my product launch, which is, guys, remember, that's the most important part of the most important part of your launch. I'm going to have the picture that I can confidently say that most of my target audience likes. And you can't put a value on that. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's a comment. We need to get Carlos into the other side of Helium 10 audience, so he can be the one actually voting. Vampires would like brown egg omelets anyways, I would imagine. All right. And sometimes, guys, you do get some funny results with some pretty creative minds. All right. Justin, what last words of wisdom, any strategies, tips that people can use as they're using Helium 10 audience that we haven't mentioned?
I don't think we talked too much about the open-ended feedback, but you can just test a single option. So if you just want to get feedback on your product or your listing, you can just say, hey, like what additional questions do you still have about this listing? And you could just pop in your Amazon listing URL or some kind of marketing copy, and people will just evaluate that single thing. I think that's always an interesting way to generate ideas, because some people know they need to optimize, but they don't know exactly what. And so people will point out like, oh, I don't know if this is washable. Is this flame retardant? And all these different questions. Oh, maybe you need to adjust the bullet points or have a secondary image that addresses it. So I think that's a really good way for people who don't know what to do to get started on audience.
Yeah. So guys, this is, I want everybody to start on this right away, because in my opinion, every private label seller should be using this. Like, I cannot think of a situation where you're selling private label where there is something that I could not use this tool. I have launched, 40 products in the last year, and there's not one product line that I've launched where I didn't use at least one of these polls, because it's just a matter of how deep do you want to go. But at minimum, if you're a wholesale seller, if you're you don't even have control of your listing, of course, maybe there's not that much, but hey, even wholesale or arbitrage sellers, maybe you want to do a poll about price points, hey, would you buy this product if it was $49? Could make, so even in that situation. But private label sellers, 100% of the time, guys, if you have a product right now, I would suggest using this on something that you think could change your conversion. If you are in the process of ordering a product and you haven't created your listing yet, absolutely use this. As people thought about today that I didn't even think about in the past, if you are in the product research stage, sure, use it to validate some ideas. So if you guys if you're not a Helium 10 member and you want more information on this, go to helium10.com/tools/audience, and you can find out more about it. helium10.com/tools/audience. If you're already a Helium 10 member, like I said, you guys could scroll back or rewind this and see how I got in there. All I did was I went to my dashboard there under listing optimization. It says audience. Click there, make your first one today, guys. And then, you don't have to, like I said before, everybody's always so secretive from Amazon stuff. You don't have to show what you did, but I want you guys to do a poll and then let us know the results. You can redact out your product or the actual question, but let us know the results and what you learned from it. Post it in the Helium 10 members Facebook group. Are you in our Facebook group, Justin? Yeah. Tag Justin, tag myself. We'd love to see what you did. And if you guys have follow-up questions, please go to our Facebook group and ask us. Tag myself, tag Justin. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, awesome.
And what I'm going to do is after this, maybe Brian or somebody on the team can help me. We are going to go through and see how many people pick B, and somebody is going to get a Helium 10 podcast microphone on there. So again, thank you, Justin, for coming on here. Thank you for creating this amazing product that really helps Amazon sellers out. And thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.